Right, we're ready to begin with Kentucky. We'll ask Coach Calipari for some opening thoughts, and we'll take your questions just for the two student athletes and then excuse them and finish up with Coach. And when you go to the questions, raise your hand. We'll get a remote mic to you, and please identify yourself and the outlet you represent. Coach?
Give A&M credit. They did a great job. They played a physical game. Defensively, they made it hard. Just won one of our better games. I told them after. I mean, we didn't pass the ball to each other like we've been doing. When the ball stops, we're not the same team. You're going 1-on-5 and hope you can make a play. You can't play that way. And we haven't for weeks. But today we kind of did. Now, whether they did things to make us play that way, but they deserved that game the way they played. And again, I mean, we give up 97. How many games are you going to win giving up 97 points? Two guards got 72 points. You're not going to win. So we'll got some stuff to figure out, but this is an unbelievable group that I'm coaching. All I told them is they got to stick together now. We've been on a run. It's all been fun. You win, you do it. All of a sudden, you get dinged, and now the real stuff starts next week, and we got to be in the right frame of mind.
All right, questions for either of the student athletes? If you'll raise your hand, let's start on the center aisle in the second row.
Ben Roberts, Lexington Herald leader. Tre is one of the leaders, veterans of this team. As Cal just said, what do you tell the younger guys about staying together, looking ahead, kind of turning the page from this?
You know, it's pretty simple. You know, we're not done yet. It's that simple, and we'll get back in the gym. We'll get back to work. We'll look at the tape. Coach will tell us what we did and didn't do, what worked for us and what we went away from. But at the end of the day, we have a team full of hungry dudes that are gonna stay in the gym, and this minor setback is gonna motivate a lot of dudes to play that much harder come the tournament.
Other questions? Raise your hand for either of the student athletes. Hands up. Did you? Yeah, second row.
Reed, from what you saw with the 14 turnovers, was it something they were doing? Was it something you guys weren't doing? What kind of led to those?
I mean, you got to give them credit. You know, they played a really good game. They were physical. You know, they guarded well, but a lot of that was on us as well. You know, we didn't play like we normally been playing. We didn't share the ball. We got selfish and tried to make home run plays and just try and take over the game by ourselves. But, you know, we'll learn from it. We'll get better. We got a bunch of dudes that know how to play basketball, so we'll continue to get in the gym, watch the game, and learn from it, and then continue to get better.
Other questions for either? All right, let's go to the middle, third row on the left.
Sarandon, WHAS 11 in Louisville. Kentucky is a fairly young team. You guys had a little bit extra time preparing for this tournament. Do you think that there was any additional nerves kind of coming into this game, a little extra rest that wasn't kind of had you a little bit on a slow start?
Was that for who?
Both players,
okay.
please.
Reed, would you go first?
Yeah, I mean, the coaches did a really good job of preparing us for the game, and you know, you got to give Texas A&M credit. You know, they came out, they fought, they were physical. We knew it was going to be a physical game. And, you know, we didn't play like we needed to play. They hit shots. We got selfish, and they deserved to win the game. They played better. But, you know, this was on us. The coaches did a really good job of preparing us and getting scout for the game. And we played them once, so we knew what to expect. But, you know, we'll continue to get in the gym and grow from it.
Same for Tre.
Yeah, there's not much more I could piggyback off that. But, you know, we were prepared. We were. It's just a matter of when the moment hits, you gotta show up and perform, you know, and you have to be able to adjust on the fly. You know, coaches were giving us adjustments throughout the entire game, and there were moments where we listened and it was effective, and moments where we shied away from it, and you see the result from it.
We'll take one more if anyone has any. All right, we'll excuse the student. All right, hold on one second. Last question on the third row.
Maggie Davis, BBN Tonight for both guys. What do you all take from this performance and take with you in next week's big
Tre?
dance?
I think it kind of comes back to things we dealt with earlier in the season. You know, we're a completely different team when we don't move the basketball, and I think this is just kind of emphasize that for us when we get to look at the tape. I think that's something that we'll see immediately. And I'm sure that that's something that will be emphasized moving forward in practice and preparing us for March.
And Reed?
Yeah, I mean, just like what Trey said, we'll get back to Lexington, watch the game, get in the gym, and we'll just continue to work on it and continue to get prepared, for the next game. And we're excited. We're a fun group. I love all the guys. We got a really good team, and we're all really, really close, and we want to win. No one likes losing. So we're all excited to learn from this and get back home and get working again.
All right, we'll excuse the student athletes. You can return to the locker room and please exit off to your right. All right, we'll continue on with Coach Calipari. So if you have a question, raise your hand, and we'll get one of the remote mics to you. I'll start on the second row in the center.
Cal, going into the big tournament, how concerning is the defense right now for you? Obviously, they got a lot of second chance points. They also got a lot of drives to the rim again today.
Yeah, and we've been working on zone, and we were good for a minute. You make a sub, and one guy gives up 2 threes, and now all of a sudden, it's part of it. We haven't played it that much, but we were prepared to go to it if the guards kept getting downhill. But you got to have Plan B in that thing, and I think we do. Crazy thing was there were times we weren't bad defensively. They just made it like a tough shot. So, when I watch the tape, I'll have a better idea. There were some times we had miscommunication. Again, not enough talking, a young team. And they don't talk enough, so now a guy's he can't hear what they're saying, and he gets clipped a little bit. But we have shown that we can guard the best teams in the country. And we have shown that you can score 100 on us. We just got to lock in and know we've got to get better defensively. But when you're not passing the ball to each other and everybody's not touching the ball, it bleeds into your defense too. And so, but they did this to us down there too. We knew, they only out-rebounded us by a couple, but their turnovers, points off of turnovers, are 18. Ours was 4. But we shoot 50% from the 2, 40% from there, from the three-point line, 9 blocks, pretty even, 21 assists. Just got to guard better. 87 points is enough to win most basketball games unless they score 97. So we're gonna have to lock in, and again, I keep coming back to offensively, whoever I put in, we seem to be okay. So some defensive players may have to step in there and let's get it locked down. We just weren't ourselves today, and I want to give credit to A&M because they played well. I mean, they did good stuff today. They made more threes probably than they have in a while, and so give them credit.
Other questions? Raise your hand. Let's go to the front row, far right.
Cal, just piggybacking off of you weren't yourselves, how much of that would you say is attributed to, young team, postseason, every possession matters kind of thing?
Well, much of that is your first game is the hardest one, and I told them that. I've done this a long, long time. I've been in a lot of these kind of tournaments, a lot of NCAA tournaments. Hardest game is the first one. When you got a team like we have, you get by the first one, it's a little more of a downhill run. There are teams around the country right now losing this game because they're learning it, that first one's a hard one. So now I think they'll know when we talk about it next week that wherever we end up, we're going to have a tough first game. It'll be hard.
Okay, question far back on the right.
John, with such a young team, will it be easier or harder for them to shake this off and concentrate on the NCAA tournament?
I think they'll be fine because of what Trey said. They're competitive. They got a will to win. And their body language, when we walked in at halftime, they were so good that convincing each other we're fine. And we started pretty good, and then it's, a couple foul shots and misses, and all of a sudden you can't get it any closer. And so, but they, and again, I'm the guys that didn't play as much, Aaron, just how the game kind of played out. And Justin, but we need those guys. When they play well, we win. So, that's the stuff that we need to keep an eye on and just make sure they know you just got to be ready for your moment. And it's hard if you're not playing as much, but you got to be ready for your moment. The rest of their basketball lives, you better be ready for your moment. No excuse, no nothing, just be ready. So, but I got a good team. We're young, and we do some, we had some really bad turnovers today that led to baskets. And when you're talking a 4 to 6 point game, 8 point game, but you gave them 3 breakaways, think about that. And so, I'm chalking it up to, what? They played really good. We didn't play as well as we've been playing, and you lose. And now let's get these guys ready. I'm excited about going into this tournament. I am. When you can score the ball, you got a chance. Now, come on, let's just guard a little bit. And we did it at Tennessee. Tennessee's one of the best teams in the country. We did it at Auburn. We did beat Alabama in the end, but so we can do it. It's, are you locked into that more than anything else?
Question in the back on the left.
John, just getting out of the locker room, talking to the players, obviously they're frustrated because they wanted to win this, but you also said at Tennessee, obviously you've been vocal about it. This tournament doesn't matter as much. It's the big one that matters, which is true, but they still have to go out there with that mentality that they got to win, right? So how do you balance that message of that these games are important?
We won it. You know what this is? This was about seed. And it was also about our fans, and I told them that. We got a lot of people that traveled, that spent money, that this is their opportunity to watch this team. But this tournament for us was about the seed. You got to win and you got to advance to improve your seed. We had every chance now. All that's going around the country, we had our chance. But we had to go and play well today. And I don't think, I'm not telling them that. You do know how many games my teams have won in this thing and championships, right? Like 16 sets. So, yes, we're playing to win, but we're playing for a bigger picture, which is that seed. I don't think that affected them that way. They wanted to win this game. They were frustrated and disappointed, but I felt for the fans, and I said it to Tom after on the radio. You want to win for them. They put everything into being here and all that. You want to win for them, but our kids did too. I told them, when you walk in this arena, you're going to think you're in Rupp Arena. So let's go play for them. Let's go have some fun. Let them see what we are. Some of these people can't get in Rupp Arena. Let's go. Sometimes your teams don't play well. Sometimes they do, and you advance and you win. Sometimes they don't, especially young teams. We didn't do it today. But I don't want you to take away from A&M because they played well.
We've got time for 2 more questions. We'll take front row right here in the middle and then the second row in the middle.
Yeah, Olin Buchanan with TexAgs.com. Coach, A&M's on the bubble because of some bad losses.
They got eight quad 1 wins.
So I was going to ask your opinion on what good wins like over good teams like you. In your opinion, how does that measure against like bad losses?
I think they're fine. I think they've done enough to be in the tournament, and the way they played today, if they shoot the ball the way they shot it today, they're going to win games. So they're a good team.
Okay, last question, center aisle.
Cal, Tone obviously in foul trouble for most of the game. You got a lot of weapons on this team, but how much does a night like tonight show how much you need him on the court for the connectivity out there?
I thought there were some opportunities for him to get shots before he got in foul trouble, and he went and do that little floater you have. He had 2 or 3 opportunities to do it. And then he never really got in rhythm. He made a couple, and I thought at half he makes that shot, okay, now he's going to get going. I'm going to say that they're not machines and they're not robots. They don't play great every night out. Could we say it's rebounding or the foul trouble? Could we say it's Texas A&M, the way they played? Reed didn't get as many shots off in the second half. Like, we're trying to get him more shots, but you know what? They did a good job. He couldn't quite get them off. But, yeah, we need him. We need him. But, again, we need all of them. We need everybody on the team.
Thank you.
Thanks.